Hello, my name's Michael Conneely and I'm telling you about my novel Sacred Earth, which is available on Amazon. And I'm going to start by telling you a bit about the background of this book, which is set on a protest site, a bender site, where people built benders, ecologically low impact dwellings of willow branches with tarpaulins draped over them and wood burning stoves. And they lived on this site, which I studied as part of a field study over a 5-year period. And they wanted to protect a stone circle in England that was threatened because an old quarry was planned to be reactivated close to the circle, and they felt this was a desecration of the ancient sacred energies of the circle, a disrespect to the people who 5,000 years ago buried their dead there and connected to their gods and to the cosmos. And basically we're filming this in a stone circle, in fact a court tomb near Sligo in the west of Ireland, which is near our healing centre and Airbnb. So I run this healing centre near Sligo on the Atlantic coast of the west of Ireland with Maggie Pashley. And from there we do many worldwide readings and healings. And in this particular experience of mine on which this novel is based, I think the biggest memory I have is where travellers were trying to prevent the quarrying starting up, and the new multinational quarrying company that had taken over the very old quarry sent the police in on them. And I particularly remember one horrifying incident when a young woman with her baby fled from the police, who were charging in on the traveller site next to the stone circle. And I just remember this policewoman, 2 of them were pinning her down, and they said, "Give the baby to us, Francis, or we'll take the child our way." And, that's what was going on around 1998. And I remember when I first went to Glastonbury to study various spiritual forms new to the modern West, a particular traveller site was evicted just after I arrived. In fact, I gave shelter to a young man. So, their caravans and benders were just trashed, their gardens trampled over, and they were made homeless. I don't know if there are still the bender sites there. I hope that the council, social workers and the police aren't still doing that. So, this is the start of my novel, Sacred Earth. And here is a young man, Liam, speaking. Okay. So this is the story of how I got into earth spirituality. It's strange to be writing the truth about such personal things for people I know nothing about. I feel awkward, really embarrassed, I suppose. But I've got to write the truth because what happened is so important, so I'll swear I'll keep it to the truth. The background is, my father moved job when I was 16. He was a planning officer and he'd moved to work for a new council, not just any planning officer, he was now deputy chief planning officer. We moved in the April, so I missed the last 3 months of my old school and I'd have to travel back to sit exams. And the college he'd enrolled me near our new house didn't start till September. The new house was grossly loathsome. The cul-de-sac it was on was called Admiral Mews, a prestige new residential development of detached houses with commanding views. the estate agents said. But I would add it was built on hitherto unspoilt countryside, and it looked plastic and sterile with mock Tudor effects, just as if it was built out of Lego, never my favourite substance. As soon as I arrived, I got on my bike and cycled round the hill at whose base the Admiral Mews development had been built. I'd no friends now, I knew no one, and I had nothing else to do except revise for my exams. There was a narrow winding road circling the base of this steep wooded hill, more precipice or cliff face than hill in places. I cycled round it until I noticed a track heading steeply off it, up the hill from a small lay-by. There were big sawn-up tree trunks and large lumps of concrete blocking the track's entrance to motor vehicles. But I just pushed my bike past the barriers and biked up through the trees until I came to the summit. There I found myself on a high, wide, flat, windy moorland plateau, open to the huge skies, with a birch wood at one end, and it was in a high clearing within the wood, and I found a stone circle. The stones were not very big, intimate, only a few feet high, but the place was breathtaking. It was so hidden in its clearing, but the clearing was wide so that the circle was sweepingly open to the full arc of the skies, the clouds, the winds and the sun. And the moment I saw it, words came into my mind and echoed there. And the words were, waiting for you. I stayed in the circle every day after that, just hanging around, enjoying the silence, revising for my exams, thinking. The important thing is that the place felt totally quiet, weird, timeless. I definitely felt I was a different person there. I was much happier with this different me. But it took me weeks and months before I could even begin to describe exactly how it was changing me. The change is in me still, I can feel it. The fact is, it was as if some energy was there. I'm certain it had been put there by the people that built the stone circle 5,000 years ago. Or it could be that the stones had been built there because of the energy of the place, I suppose, or both. But either way, it was a very different world. I began to feel very different in my body, and my mind changed. My head felt different. My body felt more solid and alert. I felt more of a man. I felt more part of the great sweep of time and the endless turning of the seasons and the life of the animals and birds. I believe it had given this gift to its makers, who first use it for their rituals. But how this energy was created in the first place is a deep mystery. If you go there, you too might experience the truth of these feelings. And later on, I felt it had other gifts as well. The truth is that by strange coincidence, other people were called to the circle at exactly the same time as me. And our arrivals coincided with a time when the circle itself came under threat, that put into peril its presence on this landscape where it stood, holding its power for thousands of years. I was so lucky and blessed in these other people who were also called to the circle. My whole life changed. It happened like this. So, here's the novel cover, and can you do a panning of the court tomb? Thank you.